We have already learned about functions of management, and in previous sessions we were learning about different functions. We have already learned the function of planning, organizing, staffing, directing. Now today in this session we will be entering into a new chapter, which is a new function, or which is considered as the last set of function. When we are listing it, it is said as the last function, but it cannot be considered as the last function. Even though when we are listing, it is coming in the last position, it doesn't means that it is the last function of management. But as according to the listing, it is written as last one, and that function is the function of controlling. Today we are starting with the chapter of controlling, and we will be learning about what controlling is and what it has to do with the management, or what is the importance of that in management. In this session we are going to learn about what is controlling function. Controlling, the term itself gives you an idea. Control. If you are shouting inside a class when lecture is going on, what will be your condition? Or what is the problem in doing so? Have you ever thought of that? When teacher is looking at you and asking, why are you talking in between the class? Why teacher is doing so? What is the problem if you are talking inside the class? When you are arguing, when you are shouting at a person who is elder to you, your parents or your elders corrects you. This is not the way to speak. Why it is so? When you are going out of your house at a time which is very late, your parents, your whomever is concerned about you say that this is not the time you have to go out of house. Why? Because there are certain methods, certain ways in which we are doing things, or we are being used to do things. Or if we are speaking technically, we can say there are certain standards set. We have already seen in the function of planning, there are standards set. So if you are going beyond the standard, if you are going in a different way other than standards, if you are not able to keep up to the standard, you are doing something wrong, or there is some problem with it. That is why in class, when classes are being taken, you have to keep silent. That is the standard which is being decided. And if you are not listening, if you are doing something else, you are not keeping the standard. So it is required that you be brought back to the standard. Only if you are listening, you will be able to do your exams well. So likewise, when we go to organization also, organization too have this problem. Organization has to make sure that everything is being done in organization according to what is being planned, because plans are always made by keeping certain objectives, certain assumptions in mind so as to achieve the objectives. So it is this function of management which is making sure that everything happen within the organization according to what has been decided earlier. Or technically speaking, this is controlling. It is a function which ensures organization activities or activities in organization are performed according to the plans. whether the activities inside the organization are done according to the plans which are being made, or we are checking out the accomplishment against the standards. When we are doing certain things, when we are trying to do certain things, we are checking out what we are doing or what we have done, whether it is according to the standard what we have set. In simple terms, this is what is controlling comparison of actual performance. Actual performance means what we are doing, what we have done. Actual, what we have done with planned performance, what we have decided. So, comparison of actual performance with planned performance is happening in the function of controlling. And why it has been done? Is it enough that let the things happen? Why don't we think like that? This is done in order to find out whether there is any difference, and the difference we call it by the name deviation. Whether there is any deviation, and if there is any deviation, if there is any difference, we will have to balance it, or we will have to correct it. That means corrective measures are to be taken. So, the function of controlling is speaking about comparison of actual performance with planned performance in order to find out deviations and taking corrective actions if necessary. Every time it may not require you need to go for corrective actions. At times you must take a corrective action. So the total concept of controlling can be brought in this way. It is the function of comparing actual performance with planned performance or standard performance in order to identify deviation and to take corrective measures if necessary. So that is the total concept of controlling. When you are talking about controlling, as I have said, it is not the last function of management. It is something which is happening after things are being done, fine. But that doesn't mean that the whole activity ends there. Because if there is a deviation, it has to bring back, or it to bring back the whole function, whole activity of management back to planning. Why? Because if there is deviation, corrective measures have to be taken, and the corrective measure is a new plan. So it brings back the cycle back, or it brings back the management cycle back to planning function. So we cannot say that controlling is the end of everything. Controlling is the end of everything. We cannot say it is a function which brings back the management cycle back to planning function. So it cannot be considered as the end of management functions. It again taking back the cycle to planning function. So controlling is very important in management to check out whether we are doing or what we are doing is in the right way, in the right manner what we have planned. That is why we said it is comparing actual performance with planned performance or standard performance in order to identify the deviations and to take corrective measures if required. And it is to be done by all the managers, irrespective of whether it is top, middle or lower level management. It has to perform the function of controlling. As I said, every time it may not require corrective measures to be taken, but we have to understand if there is any change from planned performance for certain serious things, or which can affect those things which can affect the management seriously. Measures have to be taken, otherwise we can ignore it. So management function of controlling is a very important function in the management of an organization. Now Why it is considered important? Why it is considered important? That is what we are going to see. The importance of controlling. The importance of controlling. First one, as I have said to you earlier, every management function is focusing at achieving goal. Focusing at achieving goal. Now, here also we are saying that one of the thing which brings important, one of the benefit of function of controlling is to accomplish organizational goal, because we are checking out every moment or every time when we are doing, or once the work is completed, we are checking out whether it is going as per what we have planned, and if there is any deviation, we are going for corrective action. We are checking what we have done is right or wrong, and we go for corrective measures if necessary, if required. That means the function of controlling is bringing back the total management function into track, or it is making sure that the organization is keeping in track with the organizational goal, or it is going in proper track so as to achieve organizational goal. So, in that way we can say management function of controlling is important, because it is making sure that the organization is moving in proper track towards achieving objectives. That is one thing. Second thing is that judging accuracy of standards. Judging accuracy of standards. When we are setting standard, we are saying that we are trying to convey that is the level we have to reach. That is the level we have to reach. So, up to a limit, up to a level, we can say that these standards act as the base, or these standards are the point which act as a benchmark. If we are able to do that, everything will go fine, or everything is good. But certain times you can see that there can be changes happening, and many a times this standards may not become, may not be enough so as to keep the organization in track. There we have to recheck the standard, whether the standard which we have set is enough, or whether the standard which we have set is relevant at that time. There can be changes happening. So many a times when we are setting standards, it is to that level we have to work. At times there can be changes. More advanced things can come. More better things can come. So there we will get an idea regarding our level of our standards. And we may have to change. We may have to change the standards what we have to set. What we have set. So up to a level where the accuracy of standards can be checked. We can check out whether what the standards we have set is according to the relevant situation, relevant condition. Accuracy of standards can be identified through controlling function, because what we have set as the minimum level may be made better, or may have to be made better in the changing situation. So up to a level when we are performing controlling function, we can see whether our standards are up to the mark, or whether our standards are updated ones. So finding out the accuracy of standards is also one point where we can be clear about. So second. Third one, making efficient use of resources. Making efficient use of resources. Because in controlling, we are already setting benchmarks. We are already setting benchmarks. We have predetermined standards. We have predetermined norms. So it is only to that level, it is in that particular manner we have to perform, or it is to that standard we have to work. That means everything which are to be used, everything how it has to be done is very clearly understandable, very clearly identified. So we need not take what is more than that what is required. In such a way, as there is everything, a predetermined norm for everything, we need not go for a trial and error use of resources. We need to take the resource only what is required, and in that way resources can be used in a better manner. It will be used in such a way that it gives the best result, because we have already predetermined benchmark set. That is also another point. Coming on to the fourth one, improve employee motivation. Improve employee motivation. Again, when we are looking at a controlling function, each employee knows what they have to do, because benchmarks, standards are set. And each employee is given idea on which all criteria they will be evaluated. And when employees coming to know how they will be evaluated, how they will be appraised, they will try to keep to that standard, or they will try to go above that standard so as to be appraised in a better manner. So many a times the standards which are being set in controlling function act as a motivation for them to give better performance when they are having a clear idea regarding the standards. In that way, employee motivation happens through function of controlling. That is also another benefit or another fact of importance. Next one they are saying is ensure order and discipline. Ensure order and discipline. Because when there is controlling in a way we can say it is a check over the activities of employees. They are being checked in whatever they are doing, or however how they have to do each things. So chance for going different from that, or in a way we can say chance to show dishonest behavior is comparatively less. So in that way we can say that they will be keeping the standards, they will be keeping the orders, they will be keeping the level they have to maintain. They cannot show any dishonest behavior, because everything is set and informed to them. There is benchmarks for everything. There is standard set for everything. They have to keep up to that standard. In that way also, controlling makes sure that there is order or discipline maintained in the organization. That's also another point of importance. And the last one is facilitating coordination. Facilitating coordination. What to say? Same thing we can say. There is a standard set. Actual performance is being measured. Corrective measures are taken if required. Deviations are identified. So everything happens one by one, or one connected with another one. So you can say that every employee is governed by a standard which is being set, and each person's work, because they have to do to a particular level, and it can be easily connected with the next person's work or next department's work very easily, because whatever is happening is pre-planned and given to them. They have to keep to that standard. So a person will reach till one point, and from that point it will be taken over by another person, because that benchmark is being decided. In that way we can say that there is a coordination, there is a better coordination happening, or activities can be coordinated without much confusion. So that is also another point of importance of controlling. So we were talking about what is the meaning of controlling and what are the points of importance in controlling.